Hi, welcome back to the Blessed Bonds podcast. Today I have the Well twins on. Can you guys just tell us a little bit about yourself? Whoever wants to go first?
Nadia can go first.
Hello, thank you for having us, Rose.
Yeah.
Well, we are the Wealth Twins. We started a financial literacy, financial education business online with each other to help spread the word of financial literacy, financial independence, and investing for beginners, right? Because we know that type of education is lacking. And I think a lot of people don't feel confident enough to do it on their own. So we take our experience of previously working on Wall Street and growing up in a disadvantaged situation and helping people learn from that and say, look, we can break down complex topics in a way that makes it digestible for anyone who wants to learn about managing their money.
That is so cool. That is so
Nadia said that much more than I would. I would just say, we teach financial literacy and investing really in the hopes of that leading to bigger areas of their life because money is probably one of the cornerstones of a family's existence, right? And when the money is not in order, it can lead to a lot of different things hurting that family. So when Nadia says disadvantage, we grew up poor in New York City, and our parents, a lot of times, I would say the majority of the fights, maybe all of the fights, were basically started from a money problem. So
Yeah.
we understand how that affects women, how it affects children, how it affects men and families.
Yep.
So we said, if we wanted to really have an impact, one of the ways that we could, because it's had such an impact in our lives about learning how to invest and learning about how to manage our money, why don't we share that with the world in hopes that it can help somebody else?
That's amazing. I love that you guys like took that what you had gone through. Let's make this and help other people. I think that's what entrepreneurship is like we see a problem and we see something like, oh, we want to fix that, and then we move that and we like become a business and like change people's lives. I think that's just really neat. On today's episode, I really want to talk about like this might sound like cliche, but like girl boss and like businesswoman, like that kind of thing, because I feel like it's kind of fun to be a businesswoman and be a girl boss and to do all these things that maybe people like doubt us sometimes, and we're like, wait, we got this. Just watch us.
Yeah.
And I think that that's definitely kind of a cool spot to like talk about because I haven't been able to talk about that with anyone on my podcast. I'm like, yes, let's do
Okay.
this. And so I think that you guys told us a little bit about your business. Do you guys have anything else you want to like share into that? Or do you guys want to move on to the question of I want to talk about your relationship, but do you guys want to talk anybody about your business and that like aspect part that you just talked about?
I think we're good there. If we can, you can move to the next question if you like.
Okay, yeah. So you guys are like super close now, and I can tell that you guys are like close and you guys like love each other dearly. What was your relationship like when you were younger?
Nadia and I are twins, and it's funny. You have some twins that really try to like separate from each other and don't want anything to do each other because they feel they lose their own individuality.
Yeah.
And then you have certain twins like Nadia and I who have so much in common that we're each other's best friends, even though we don't like to admit it a lot, right? And like we've always been close. We've done all the same sports. We went to all the same schools. Our first jobs were the same, even in school and out of school. So like I believe there was a reason I was born a twin, and we've always shared a strong relationship with each other.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's so cool. I feel like yeah, when I see twins, I'm like that's special. Like that's a special bond because it's like someone that you are literally with, like since you were born, like literally.
Yeah,
And
I
so
think it's unfortunate when I see twins who are not close. I'm like, how can you not be close to this person?
yeah,
So I think that it's
I can
interesting.
understand that too, though, because with twins, there's not one leader. Oh, I mean, in our situation, Nani and I are both very headstrong,
mhm.
and then there's it's like sometimes I wish I was a triplet because we need someone that could break the ties. Okay, I can't
I
tell
wish I
what to
had a
do.
twin who was a little more different than me. I wanted her to be like an interior designer or something because we both are not good at that at all.
We're not creative in that way.
Like had separate skills that we could
Yeah,
leverage.
Yeah, she was artistic or something, or knew how to match colors or do
Or she could
graphic
sing.
design.
It'll be better. It'd be a or dress, you know.
I love that. Yeah, was it hard like growing up? Because you guys look a lot alike. Was that hard for like growing up and being?
Our mother, we dressed alike until we were 18. my mother, we were the last out of 6, and my mother was like, "Look, you're twins. I'm gonna dress you exactly alike." And even when we were in our teenage years, it just was like, "Okay, you pick the outfit today, I'll pick the outfit tomorrow." And it was just like people would try to make fun of it, but they're like, "Okay, it's the twins," you know? So
Yeah.
that was the only thing difficult growing up is that people you're kind of a novelty, but
Yeah.
I think twins should dress alike. I don't know.
I mean, as twins, like you learn very quickly that you stand out.
Yeah.
So you need to stand out in a good way or a bad way because everyone already sees you. So you just accept the spotlight that you have, and having to dress exactly alike. I'm talking about down to the socks. Everything was exactly alike. You start building up tough skin because
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of people that make fun of you. And growing up during the 80s, there's a lot of twin commercials. There's still a gum called Doublemint, and
Mm.
all their commercials were twin commercials. And everyone thinks they're the first one to tell you, oh, the Doublemint twins. And everyone
Yeah.
thinks they're the first one that's going to say, sister, sister.
Yeah.
Then
Tia and Tamara. Like,
yeah,
okay.
so you get used to people coming up to you, you get used to people talking to you,
Yeah.
and it's an interesting way to grow up, and it's funny because I don't know any other way. I don't know how it is not to be a
I
twin.
think it's harder to be an individual going through this world, like
Yeah.
going into a class or school by yourself. Like that has to be hard. So I think it makes you a stronger person when you're an individual. You got to go through that. But if you have a twin, you constantly have that person that's going through it with you at the same time.
But I also think being a twin has also helped us. Like I
Yeah.
said, it helped us stand out. And there are people who gravitated to us and said, look, I'm going to take care of you. Maybe because they saw us immediately. I don't know what it was, but they said, look, I want to help you somehow. So a lot of times throughout our lives, there's always been someone who stepped in and has decided to guide us to the next step.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
I'm not sure if it's because of us individually or is it because of us being twins plus individualism. I don't know. But I do think being a twin helped put us on the radar a lot of times.
Yeah, because we competed with each other, but we competed to make each other better. So
Yes.
we had an aunt that said we constantly bicker because we're trying to perfect each other.
Yes. Like helping each other. That's really cool because I think it's fun. I have like a brother. We're obviously not twins, but it's kind of like I think just having a sibling is super special. Just
Yeah.
having a bond because it's someone that you come home every day and you're like, oh yeah, so this is how my day went and this is how my day went. And sometimes we talk and sometimes it's like, okay, bye. Like you go to your
Yeah.
side, I'll go to my side. Talk to you later. And it's kind of cool. I feel like siblings are very special, and I love that you guys have each other, especially because you guys pulled that and then you guys made a business together. It's like so fun that you guys were able to do that. And I see that with my brother because he and I both like do business stuff. We do different, but I'm like, okay, here I have this problem. I don't know how to do this. Will you help me? And he's like, yeah, I got it. And then he'll come to me and be like, okay, so I'm trying to work on Instagram and I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, I got you. And so it's just kind of fun because you guys get to match off of the other person's talents, and you guys are like really similar, but you still can have different parts you guys like are good at, and then it's like, oh well, she's a little bit better at this, so maybe she can help me with that. And so I think that that's super special, and I'm like so happy and so excited and so proud of you guys for building a company together and making that something that's super special.
Thank you. I was the one that said, Nadia, we should start a company together. So I had to do a lot of persuading to get Nadia to jump on board. She was like, what is this? I don't even know what social media is. And there's people that making money on this. Are you kidding me? And I was like, I'm telling you, I researched this. This is going to be very interesting. We could do like so much together. I need you to come and jump on board because at the time, Nadia and I we were just starting motherhood,
Yeah.
and we were both working on Wall Street, and we were doing like 60 hours plus a week, and
Yeah,
at the time
more.
we were in consulting as well, and we could be anywhere in the world,
Mhm.
and we were trying to figure out how we were going to be able to be a mom and also be not a businesswoman, but also make money because we spent a lot of time on our education, and we didn't want to just give that up with motherhood. But motherhood was very important for us because our mother had passed away when we were 20. So we knew that we wanted to be there for our children. That was something we made a point. And working on Wall Street, you really sometimes the women have to make they feel like they have to make a choice. Either you follow the career path where you can make as much money as you can and go up the ladder, or and have no children at all, or you have children that you don't see, you let nannies take care of them, I had a lot of female coworkers and bosses who children called them by their first name because they were working so much that the nannies would be the ones that the children would rely on. Or you had children and you basically had to give up your career.
Yep.
So those were basically the three choices we were looking at. And when entrepreneurship came up on the table, that actually gave us a fourth way and said, you know what? This can be an option where we can do both. We can be mothers, so we can have our own schedule, but also still be somewhat career focused because we're pretty ambitious people. And having that education, we didn't want to just waste it and just become like being mothers is great, but we're more than just that as well. So it was a way to have both rather than just picking one or the other.
Yeah, that's so special. I love that. How was like persuading her? Like, how did you get her to be on your side and do it with you?
I think the first thing I said was, "I'll do all the work." you
No.
know, just stand up for pictures, okay? That's all I need you to do. I'll do all the work. Just give me some money to pay for some things and take some
Yeah, I
pictures.
was paying for the stuff, and she's like, "I'll just run it." I'm like, "Okay," but I was running a cafe at the time, so I had decided to leave the corporate world. I had my child. I had bought a piece of property in Brooklyn, and I had a cafe on the first. Well, it had a commercial storefront on the first floor. So I realized there was no places to sit down and eat in the area, especially for families. So I decided to create a cafe in the bottom of my building. Ran that for 7 years, but I think her persuasion was in addition to me not wanting to deal with employees anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, let's try a different business model. Okay.
Not
So
just that, COVID also helped as well.
COVID hit, but it was also because the cafe was taking up a lot of my time because if an employee had called out sick or they wouldn't show up, I would be the one that had to take in, like step in last minute.
Yeah.
So that was really like I didn't have control over my schedule like I really wanted to. And my son had just been born. He was probably one at the time. So I'm like, now I have two kids. It's a little harder to juggle a brick and mortar store with I had probably 6 employees. So I said, you know what, let's try something different. Let's work together. And if it gives me a little more flexibility with my schedule, that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny. Like Wealth Twins is like the evolution of trying businesses that you realize you didn't want to do as well.
Yeah. You
'Cause I
found
had done. What was that, Rose?
you found what you didn't want. And you're like, okay, so let's figure out what we do want.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you, with every business idea, you learn things. If it
Absolutely.
fails, you learn things. If it takes off, you learn things, and then you go, "This is what I like. This is what I don't like," and then you start uh, it's just an evolution. And I had a couple businesses before where I was dealing with brides. I was a DJ at one point, and you realize they're naughty with the cafe. You realize standing on your feet all day, it's hard. Dealing with brides, it's hard, So it's like, what can we do? Like fulfilling on products, physical products, it's hard. So it just became something where after thinking about it and said, okay, what could be something that we like to do, we can do, and can be long term. And then I think that's when the original name wasn't Wealth Twins, it was actually Edge and Effort. And then that started to evolve and then it
Yeah.
became
Nobody knew what edge and effort meant. They were like,
I
what?
knew what it meant. I was a little too creative. So you start learning how not to be so creative as well. You want to be clear rather than clever. So all those things just evolve to get us where we are.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. And like when you guys were choosing the name, I kind of want to talk about this. Is what like how did you guys come up with the Wealth Twins?
I threw out a bunch of different money related names, and then I saw that Wealth Twins wasn't taken. And
Yeah.
then we were at a conference. I'm like, hey guys, what do you think about this? They're like, oh, I like that. Are you sure it's available? I'm like, it's available. And I locked down all of the I guess the URLs and everything like
Yeah.
that, the Instagram handle. So it worked out for us.
Yeah, I think one thing we knew when it came to names, it needed to be either one or two syllables. So, like, or two words. So, I
Yeah.
remember going to a business association meeting, and one of the mentors there was like, listen, big businesses have two words. That's it, no more. So, he was like, look, Facebook. And he actually, like, Jiffy Lube. Like, he kept going through different things. He's like, see, you
Yeah.
need two words. That's it. And it needs to be something that tells right away what it could be.
Mhm.
And like Nadia said, she had come up with certain things and it was like, yeah, twins needed to be in it. That was great. It tells right away something. And then the money terms we needed to figure out. It was one like rich twins or so, and
There's a couple of
finance
twins in
twins.
finance.
So we said rich twin sounds too like it just sounds
It's
very
not.
like it.
Yeah,
It's what it was. It's too. It's just poor taste. Okay, so we said wealth twins would work.
yeah. Because you can like make wealth be like multiple things. Like wealth isn't just
Exactly.
money. Wealth is like
Exactly.
you're wealthy with your family, like who you are, like all that kind of stuff. So I love that. Okay, I'm gonna find our next question.
I wish we were as ambitious as Rose when we were her age.
It's good some days, and then some days it's like, what are we even doing?
See, look at it. You got blessed bonds. Boom, right there.
Yeah,
2 words.
Yeah, but you know what? You're trying this now, and by the time you're 20, you're gonna have so much more experience than people who are twice your age.
yeah,
So I think this is the best experience that you can have right now.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
fantastic.
It's really cool. And when I was doing the podcast with Russell, he's like, it's crazy because you took what you learned in like 6 months and you made it something. And he's like, and some people wait years and years and years. And he's like, and you took it and was like, okay, let's make something cool.
Exactly.
I was like, yeah, sometimes you just have to run with it and be like, well, God's got me. It'll be okay. And I
Yep.
feel like
There you
there's
go.
just, it's like, scary sometimes because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. But then it's like, it's okay. I don't need to know what I'm doing all the time.
You
Here's
know
a
what's
hint.
funny?
You,
The
you'll
older
never know what you're doing.
exactly. I was like, the older you get, that doesn't change.
You'll never
Right.
know. You just gotta keep moving in faith and
The
say,
only thing
okay,
that
it'll work
changes
out.
is your willingness to act.
Yep.
Okay, so you have the most. This is the time, and especially with God having your back, and you know that at such a young age, just go for it. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what you're doing.
It's like just keep running and you'll eventually. I mean, I think that is a journey. It's never like a destination.
True.
And because I'm like, oh, I want to become this and I want to do this and this. And I'm like, wait, but I'm on the like journey right now. And it's gonna like, it might not be a destination because I might not get exactly where I'm going. There's going to be probably a lot of like side roads and all different kinds of things. But I'm working towards like this idea and it's okay. But the goal is to help other people. And I think it's so cool because you guys do that. And it's like, okay, this is what I want to become. This is what I want to work on. And I'm just going to trust that whatever happens, happens. And it all happens for a reason. And so I think that like looking back at the journey is such a cool idea. And I love that you guys kind of look back at your journey and be like, this is where we were, and we were working on these businesses and we didn't like them until we changed. Now we love what we're doing now.
Yep.
And I think that's so special that you guys get to have that story. And it's really cool that we have like all these things that we go through, all the things that we do, and then we can change it into a story. Like, yeah, so this is what happened, and this is how I know that everything will work out for you because it worked out for me. And
True.
it's just
Yeah, what I realize now, all you know is just a piece of the puzzle. You
mm,
just know what direction you're going in. I have no idea what this is going to evolve into 10 years from now. You know, all you get is a little sliver of light that you have to follow. And then it keeps turning. Like, yeah, entrepreneurship. Had no idea what that was going to lead to. And then
right.
now it's leading to us being the Wealth Twins and, you know, YouTube and social media. But we have no idea what it's going to turn into 5, 10 years from now. So it's exciting. We're on a journey, and just being on a journey is exciting, you
For
know.
sure.
And I think I wish more people would understand that, especially girls and women in general. You don't have to know the answers. You don't know where to take you. You just have to keep taking one step at a time. And it's so interesting who you're going to meet, what you're going to learn, and how it's going to evolve. And I think that's one of the best things with this journey.
Absolutely. We just keep taking steps. I think it's so cool because like I met you guys and I look up to you guys so much. And I think that it's just so
Thank you.
special.
We look up to Rose. I'm like, she's great.
You know,
But I think it's just so special that sometimes God puts people in your life and he's like, this is who I need you to go talk to. And like when we met you, I was like, what? You guys like got interviewed by Russell Brunson? Like I was so freaking out. I was like, what? There's no way. And I think that it's just special because sometimes you meet somebody and you like talk to them and then you just have this bond. And I think that that's really special as I've gotten into like the ClickFunnels realm is I've met so many people and I was like, I didn't even know. Like, I met Eileen Wilder, and I was talking to her about my book, and she was like, because I was just like writing it. I hadn't fully like truly like sat down and like started working on it. I was just like writing down like ideas about it, and I think this was like in September, and Eileen's like, just write the book, Rose. And I was like, well, I want to do 100 days, and I don't know if I should do 100. And she's like, do 30 days, and then bring it to FHL. I want to see it. And
mm,
it was like, oh, but that's a lot of work. Like 30-day devotional. That's like, how am I going to do this from September to February? I'm like, there's a lot of things that are going to go into that. And I was like, she told me I need to do it, so I'll just do it. And I started working on it there at FHL International. And I was like, okay. and I brought it to Eileen when we were in Vegas, and she was like, "You did it." I was like, "We did it." Like it wasn't a me thing. I feel like sometimes we have people that push us so that we don't have to do it alone.
That's
Wow, you're
fantastic.
talking about you made that book September to February. I've been reading it, and I'm like, it's a great book, Rose. Great stuff.
You know, I think you're discounting how much of a superpower taking the advice that somebody gives you and
Mhm.
actually taking action on it. If more people did that in the world, there'd be a lot happier people where they are in their lives, you know? So the fact that you're getting this experience as a younger person and it's just going to benefit you as you go through life. So I think it's fantastic that you're taking action.
And when you say like meeting different people, I told you like it's always been someone who we didn't know was going to show up, but showed us there's another level, and you need
Yeah.
to. They would nudge us to get to the next level. I could say it was one of my kindergarten teachers that said to my mother, "You have to put them in another school." Encourage her to do that. It was, you know, our guidance counselor that tried to show us different things. It was Mr. K showing us, "Hey, go to Columbia. This is an option." And with ClickFunnels, it was Nadia who I didn't want to go. I'm big into self learning and figuring out myself, but Nadia is like, no, we have to cut down time. And she's the one that says, go to the conferences and things like
Yeah.
that. So she was the one that said, Nicole, you've been reading
More like
Russell's
I bought
book.
these tickets. We're going.
That she bought the tickets, then tells me, right? And then at the FHL, you get so inspired, and I'm like, oh my goodness, are we gonna do this? And I'm like, no, 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 we're not gonna do this. And now he's like, we're doing this, and I was like, no, I have questions. And I went to the back, and we met with Chris Cameron, and
Yeah.
speaking with him, it was him that I was like, okay, I feel like we can do this. And it was talking to him to led us to get into Russell's programs.
Yeah.
And Chris has been an integral part in our journey as well. And that's someone I believe is another person that's meant to be there with us on this journey. So yeah, it's always someone that's nudging you to the next level.
Yep.
Absolutely. So how did you guys get into like the ClickFunnels realm? Like, how did Nadia? Did you just find it and then you were like,
I probably because I bought one of the books and I ignored most of the books. And then I think like I got on his newsletter. I got his emails all the time.
mm-hmm.
I'm on like 50 different newsletters. I just look and see what people write. And then
Yeah,
Nicole was like, yeah, maybe next time we'll see if funnel hacking goes out. Maybe we'll go to that. And then I got an email about it's Russell's birthday. It's one of those dramatic demonstrations,
yeah.
which was, I guess it was 2 years ago. And I was like, you know what? I have time. Let me go watch this presentation. And he was like, yeah, you buy the funnel hacking tickets now, and then we'll give you a discount on the second person. I'm like, well, you know what? Why not? Let's do it. It's in
Like it's
Florida. We
time.
can make it. Let's go.
I love that.
It was actually funny. I remember watching online when I was doing some research about digital businesses and online businesses, and it was a person. He was showing the .com secrets book, and this was the first copy, the first version of it.
Yeah.
It's like this book has changed my life. He's like, I'm living in Colombia, but I'm making money online. I was like, this is an interesting thing. And then I went and found the book, and it was free. You just had to pay for shipping, So I was like, okay, let me read it. But there were so many things that I didn't understand in it that we tried some stuff in it, felt it didn't work, and then we just pushed the book away. And Nadia continued to buy the books, but a lot of times we might read half a book and not really act
Yeah.
on. And
See,
this
that's
is
why
that
that
part of
action.
not acting on the information. Like both of us probably have $1 million library, books that would teach you how to make millions of dollars. But how many of those books did we act upon? And
Yeah.
we one like when I moved here, one of the I found in one of my boxes, I was cleaning out one of the rooms that I hadn't unpacked yet, and I found Nadia's copy of Expert Secrets. She says I borrow her books and I never give them
She
back.
does.
It's only
She does
partly
it.
true. Half of the time she doesn't know where her books are, but I was like, you know what? We're doing this online thing. We know webinars. Let's see what this Expert Secrets book is about, because usually at the end of the year I try to take some time off when my kids are on vacation. I try to use that time to actually learn some more stuff that can hopefully give me some more insight and continue learning. And I decided to read Expert Secrets, and I was like, Nadia, she was coming over for Christmas, and I said, Nadia, this book is actually really good. We should read it
You
again.
should
So
do it.
I got my own copy of the newest version. She had her copy. She took it home with her. And within like, I don't know, a month or so, we did our first webinar using his framework,
That's amazing.
and we made $10,000 just by reading the
By
book,
doing it wrong.
by doing it wrong. So when she said, "Hey, he is fun to hack it live," I was like, "Well, if
Well
this is what
done.
we learned from the book, let's go and see what we can learn from the actual event." So that's how we got into this world again. Like we knew about them from before, put the books away, didn't think about it, found the book again. And it's like Nadia likes to say, the teacher appears when the student is ready.
Mm.
And that's exactly what it was. And we took action on that information, and literally it showed right away what could be possible.
Yeah, I think sometimes people they like learn things and they learn things and they're like super smart, super like educated, and then they don't act upon it. And then it's like, wait, but you have all this information, you have all this potential, you have this calling, but you're not going to act upon it.
Hmm.
And so I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm starting a coaching program, and I'm going to teach like teens how to like find what God's calling them to do and find out what are they like, passionate about, what do they feel called to do, and then make that into a business. Because I feel like sometimes we feel called to do something and then we don't act upon it because we're like, oh well, we'll do it tomorrow and we'll do it later. And I'm like, wait, but that calling is in your heart today, so why wait until tomorrow? And so I really want to like teach people like how to find what you're called to do and then act upon it, because I feel like that's what keeps a lot of people from being successful and from achieving their goals is they're like, well, I can do it tomorrow. I don't want to act upon it today. It's like, well, you said that yesterday, so today is tomorrow, so you need to go do it now. Guys, come on. And so that's something I really want to help people with. So I think it's really cool that you guys acted upon it and created what you guys have now.
Well, thank you. You know what I like to say is really comfort is a killer. When you're too
Absolutely.
comfortable and you believe things are just fine the way they are and you're afraid to lose what you have, that's when you don't take any action. You have to get to a point where you either get so frustrated with yourself or your situation that you say, what will happen if I do something different?
Mhm.
So that's when people tend to move. That's when I tend to move. And I know I probably could be going faster. Nadia and I both believe we could be going faster. We have to we have to disregard comfort a lot
Yep.
to do it. So the more you say, more you actually are true to yourself and say, I'm not comfortable with where I am. And
Yeah.
there's so much that I can do, and there's a lot of potential I have, the faster you would take action.
Yeah, I think you got to limit. You have to make the time smaller between learning something and taking action, and
Mhm.
that's what I'm really trying to do. Like run fast. Let's go. I'll fix it later, but as long as you keep the momentum, I think a lot more things happen. So it's like massive action, like Tony Robbins says. Like you just got to do. You know.
Yeah. It's like take action now and just work really hard right now. And maybe it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. Like when I started my podcast, I was like, okay, this is really bad. Like some of my episodes are not good. The audio is really bad and like all this stuff. I'm like, okay, but I got it out there.
Exactly.
Things that it's out there. And people are like, it's really bad. It doesn't look good. It's like, okay, well, I'm doing it. You're not. So take a step back.
Exactly. Don't take advice from people who are not doing it.
Exactly, for sure. I think that's something that people really need to remember because sometimes we get so like mad about people judging us. It's like, wait, but they haven't accomplished what I'm accomplishing. And it's like, so they don't know what it's like and they just see like the outside like it's not perfect. It's like, sorry, it's not gonna be perfect.
I
Yeah.
mean, also it's hard to be a leader. I was telling my daughter this yesterday. It's
That's
very easy to follow, and it's very easy when someone says, you can see doctors everywhere, right? You can see lawyers everywhere. You can see teachers, whatever. You see that path, and you know what that path leads you to. Entrepreneurs are not that high profile. It's not open for you to see. The only entrepreneurs most people might see are the brick and mortar owners,
mhm.
so
Yeah,
it's not something
Or the
that's,
billionaires.
yeah, so it's not
right.
something that's seen as tangible because they don't see it and they don't understand what that lifestyle is. So I think the one thing that can really convince people is to put yourself out there more, to show that this lifestyle does exist, to
Yeah.
get more exposure to people so that they say, okay, that's an option, And it doesn't have to be like a lot of kids now, they say like the number one thing kids want to be is YouTubers.
Yeah.
But why? Because they look at Mr. Beast and stuff. But there's so many YouTubers who are carving out a niche that they're nowhere near Mr. Beast, but they're making a life out of it. So it's just a matter of getting people more awareness that this is something that's possible and you can make a good living just like you would with any of those professions, and you could do it on your own. So I
Yeah.
think more people need to be exposed to it.
Yeah, I feel like being an entrepreneur is pretty cool. And like we have masterminds with like teens every week. And it's been really cool to have like our teen mastermind because we get on there and we're like, okay, so this is what I'm working on, this is what I'm doing. And we all have like our own businesses and it's super cool. So like some of them are funnel builders, some of them are musicians, some of them are speakers. Like I'm a podcaster, speaker, author, like all those different kinds of things. And it's like we all come together and we build each other up. And it's like, wow, it's like really cool when you take somebody else's like knowledge and all that stuff and build it into how can I use this, but how can I also value and give them something. And so yeah, I just thought that was kind of cool. But
No, I think it's amazing, and that's what. And you're building a friendships. You're building a network that is going to pay off in so many different ways. And it's just having that community to keep you going. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Like Nadia and I said, man, if we were 15, oh my gosh, and this was available.
With the confidence we had at 15 and having a business knowledge, it'd have been over.
Yeah, those, if YouTube was out when we were 15 or social media, we'd have been like TikToking it and all that.
Yeah, my thing is like when you get past the point of letting people put a bucket over your light, and this is what
Yeah,
I tell my kids, stop caring about what people think about you and what they say about you, and just do what you know you're good at or do and try. You're gonna go so much further. So I
absolutely,
always don't let a person put a bucket over your light. If you believe in it, keep moving because you're gonna get better.
for sure. That's so true. I love that. Yeah. Okay. So I have another like kind of question I was gonna add into that is it's kind of about like Russell, but how did you guys get asked to be on his podcast? Like, I think that's so cool that you guys were on his podcast.
so what happened was is that there's two things. Before, when we went to FHL and we got into the program, they gave us a luncheon, right? And at the luncheon, we sat at a table where people who were already in the two comma club. And I asked one of the people there, a couple there, it was actually Paige and Josh. I don't remember, maybe Brown is your last name. And I said, they said they had gotten a two comma club in 1 year. And I was like, well, how did you do it? And they said, well, we showed up to all the coaches' meetings. And they said, that is one of the biggest hacks. You have to show up and do the work. I said, okay, well, then we're going to show up to these coaches' meetings and do the work, right? And
Yeah.
at the time, they had different coaches, and the program has evolved too. And when it turned into Prime Movers, Chris and Jordan were hosting the meetings for Fountainhead. And I said, we're going to show up. And I was like, oh, look at this. It's Chris, the one that we met in the back.
Yeah.
He's now a coach. So we went in there and we just kept showing up and showing up. And there were so many people that don't get on these coaching calls and don't
People
get,
who joined before us, and we
yeah.
were like the only ones in there. I'm like, doesn't matter to me. You guys are not taking advantage of it. Well, we'll get our questions
So
answered.
we were in the coaching calls and we were doing the work. We were getting feedback on the work. So we were able to launch our webinar very quickly. So
Yeah.
Nadia and I actually became, before there was even an award, the Prime Mover Award, we were already, doing our webinar. And then we were told that there's a Prime Mover Award that's available now. And we actually ended up getting number one.
Oh, I love
so
that. That's so cool.
so yeah, so Russell, he knew, so we had done a testimonial too for Russell.
Because we were the people showing up to the calls, they were
Yeah.
like, hey, we know your progress. You want to give a testimonial? I'm like, okay, we'll give a testimonial. So
And
he
we
used
did
that
not know it
testimony.
was going to be on FHL International when we
Yeah.
were watching. Like, what is that?
I love that. That's so
So
cool.
he saw us on the screen and he wanted to follow our progress as well. And then once we got the number one prime mover,
Yeah.
he asked us to be on his podcast, and we thought that was just so great, and we were so fortunate to be there,
Yeah.
and it just happened that way. But it started with getting advice from people who had done it and showing up.
Yeah. I think that's something I really think that you said was like take advice from people who have accomplished what you're trying to accomplish. Because if you take advice from everybody else, then it's just going to tear you down. It's just not going to build you up. And I think that Trent Shelton talks about it a lot. Is he's like, don't bring your dreams to people who are not dreamers, and don't bring
Yep.
your visions to people who aren't visionaries, because they'll just be like, okay, it's not going to work.
Exactly.
Okay. And I feel like when I wanted to start speaking, I was like, I really want to start speaking. And I was talking to someone. I was like, I want to start speaking. I want to do this and this. And I was so excited. And they're like, but speakers have stories and you don't have a story. And I was like, okay. So watch me build my story. And so
Mm-hmm.
now I have this story, and it might not be as big as some people. Like I might not have like, gone through all these different situations that some people have, but that's okay because it's my story. It's not theirs. And so I can talk about how I started my podcast and I started all this stuff, and I was barely like doing anything and barely learning, and now I'm doing all these other things, and I've seen it affect other people. I have a story now, and I can pull what people have said about me, like not making it, and it's kind of funny because then when you get to where you were like dreaming about, they're like, "Yeah, I believed in you the whole time," and I'm like,
No,
Yeah.
you
"Oh,
didn't. No, no,
Oh,
you
we
didn't.
know that. I told you so. I
yeah,
knew it. Like, yeah,
Rose, that's what you call the vapors.
I
You
was gonna
call it
say
the
the same
vapors.
thing.
Call it the vapors.
That is
yes."
a reference to a rap song in the early 80s.
Bismarcky. I don't think it has any curses, but you can listen to it, and it will give you like, "Yup, they caught the vapors."
I love that.
Exactly. So many people. I actually learned that this is another thing that's good to have, Nadia. I don't talk to many people about what we're doing. And
Yeah.
I tend to let the action speak for
Mhm.
me, because I learned if I talk too much before I've done something, I'm gonna get shot down. And people, just all the haters are gonna come out and they're gonna, oh, you see, you didn't do it, blah blah blah. So I
Mhm.
try to, like, if
Sometimes
I
the
have any,
haters are the people closest to you too.
yeah,
Like, right,
exactly.
won't even talk to you about it. Don't worry, just
Yeah, so I'm like,
watch.
no, I talked to Nadia about this. I have different conversation with different people. And
Yeah.
then I let the results speak for themselves. So I think that's also help. Yeah, and limit who you talk to, because not everybody is going to have the same vision.
For sure. That's what I've learned definitely is like, so my best friend, her name's Bella. She and I started like a clothing brand, and like she's super like in the entrepreneurial world, and like she was at FHL. Like we have grown together because of like our teen mastermind,
That's
and
great.
I was like, I talked to her about all this stuff. I'm like, okay, call her. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing building this funnel. And she's like, okay, let's figure it out. And then, but if I called somebody else, they're like, I don't think it's going to work. I'm like, okay, because you don't see the vision. And I feel like you have to find people that see the vision. And so, like Russell's son, before he went on his mission, I would text him like, "Okay, so this is what I'm working on, and I just wanted to tell you because I want to keep myself accountable." He's like, "Okay," and then later I'd be like, "I did it," and he's like, "I know you did. I was waiting." And I think that's just kind of special. And I like look back at our messages, and I was like, "I hit 300 downloads on my podcast," and it's like, "I hit 400." It's like I hit 500, and it just keeps going, and it's just kind of crazy because it's like you just taking progress, and I think that's super important is celebrating your small steps,
Yep.
being like you accomplished that, and that's something that you wouldn't have accomplished if you never started. So you might not be at a million downloads yet, but you're somewhere, and you're better than what you did like were right when you started. And I think that's a cool like thought to think about.
There's a diagram or a picture that shows what it means to be an entrepreneur, and really you can use it for anything that shows progress. It's a picture of an iceberg. Everyone sees the top of the iceberg, right? But they don't see there's much more ice below the surface. So it takes a lot that you have to do to become an iceberg. So everyone sees the top, but no one sees the bottom. And those little things are really what adds up. So I
Mhm.
try to think like that. I'm like, yeah, I'm just building an iceberg. They'll see it when it gets to the
And
top.
when you're trying to do something great, I think people put a timeline on it and
Mm.
like, oh, I got to do this within a year because somebody else did it. You don't know what experience those people had before they accomplished that or how much they've been doing before they actually hit that goal. So it's like, I see the steps to go in. I can't, if you don't want to push yourself to do it in a year because you know it might be too difficult, but you're still working towards it, I think it makes you realistic. It makes you put in the work and it makes you celebrate those small accomplishments because you know you have a goal you're shooting for. Like a lot
Absolutely.
of people try to hit 2 CCX in 1 year.
Mhm.
I think that's crazy. Like, so you're building this rocket ship. Like, I was listening to Kevin Hart's, I guess it's an autobiography. He said, you want this rocket ship to take off, but you don't want to be looking for the seat belts when it takes off, right? So you want to have everything and the foundation built correctly. So when it does take off, you really can capitalize on that. So however long it takes you to do that, don't make it take too long. But as long as you're making steady progress, you will hit it, and
Yeah.
you're able to stay there longer than people hit it too fast.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like sometimes they say there's like that quote where it's like people overestimate what they can do in a year, but underestimate what they can do in 10 years.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's very true. All right, I'm gonna move on to our next question. Um, okay, so I want to talk about being a woman in business. So, what are like some struggles you have gone through with being a woman in business?
Um, I guess it's trying to do a business, and especially a business that you do from home,
Mm.
and trying to balance it out with the kids' activities and just the kids' needs, you know?
And also husbands too, like
Yeah.
your wife, mother, you yourself.
Yeah. So it's more like you have to be a little more efficient with your time, but you also have to understand you might have a lot of interruptions that
Yeah.
happen. So it's like you feel like, oh, I should be moving faster, but like I'm doing this because I want to spend more time with my kids. I want to have the
Yeah.
flexibility to have that time with them. So you can get frustrated because like, oh, I'm not moving as fast as I could. But at the same time, you got to step back and say, well, this is important to me too. And I don't want them to feel like this is taking priority over them. So that
Mhm.
balance is kind of hard when you're a woman entrepreneur. You want to keep pushing yourself forward, but you also have to do that balancing act with family.
Yeah.
I also think maybe now the idea is shifting, but growing up, my mother was very much into girls are like this, boys are like this.
Mhm.
Girls do weird dresses, girls, are polite, things like that, which is great manners,
Mhm.
but it could also hinder you when it comes to business. I'm not saying you don't have to be nice or things like that, but when you feel like if you don't, I guess the word I guess is demure. I don't know. That right there, the confidence. I'm trying to think of the word that would make sense, but it's like men are taught to be the go-getters, right? Women are taught to be like supportive. And I'm not saying this is 100% true anywhere, but that taking that and switching and saying, no, I'm not a woman in this situation. I have to be competent in this situation. I have to be confident and just letting go that women card of this is how women are supposed to behave. That is one struggle I think I had to do because I've seen a
Yeah.
lot of guys like I think women tend to overthink a lot of things.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of when we think we're underqualified and we have to qualify ourselves before we start, where a lot of men don't have that. They're like, no, I'm just going to jump in and learn as I do it. So I think that's one of the struggles. And also, you know, for us, if I was to do this again, I had tried before I had children, because once you have children, you kind of suffer from mom guilt because you feel like, oh, I'm taking time away from them when I'm
Yeah.
focusing on me. So learning how not to put yourself on the back burner is a struggle that you have to do. And especially kids get sick, kids have vacation. And it's usually in our situation, I think in a lot of situations, the mother that takes on the majority of the workload. We have supportive husbands that are jumping in to help with the kids, but not every woman is fortunate to do that. So it's like we have to pick and choose. A lot of women feel they have to pick and choose. And that's a struggle I see for women in business.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like they see, and I think yeah, women sometimes. I feel like not as much anymore, but they're like, oh, well, they can't do it because they're a woman. They can't do all this stuff, and it's like we have different strengths than men. And I heard somewhere that like women have better like sales clothing like or closing rates because they are like more empathetic, more sympathetic, and we can like feel emotions differently. And I think using our strengths in business and just using our strengths in like everyday life, but there's a reason that we are the way we are. And I think it's been really cool, like at the part that I'm growing up in my life, is I see like women like working really hard and being like these CEOs, these like big businesswomen. I'm like, I see that, and I'm so grateful that this is like the time that I'm getting to grow up in because I get to see that and be encouraged by that. And not be like, well, I'm a girl, so I just need to sit here and smile and wave and look pretty and not go after those hard things and do those hard things because we are strong and we might be pretty, but we're also strong. And I think that that's just a cool little part about it.
I mean, the term girl boss was not around when we were growing up.
Like,
There's no such thing as girl boss and stuff. And then, like I said, when you can see it and you have exposure to it, it shows you what's possible. So I
yeah,
love this that women are now saying, no, I could be an entrepreneur.
yeah. And I think we have different ideas than men do. And we have different creations. We can create different things. And
Exactly.
because we aren't like, we don't have the same brain as what the men do. And so when they're creating something, it's like, okay, yes, that's amazing. And that will help men, but now we can create something that will help women.
It's so many businesses that are started by men for women. It's weird to me.
Yeah.
Victoria's Secret started by a man.
Hmm.
American Girl dolls started by a man. These are businesses that could have easily been started by women, and they realize that there's a market when you market to women, but it's the men that have been capitalizing on that. So
Yes.
if more women take advantage of that and really understand women's needs and be the ones that provide it, I think it's fantastic.
The one that kills me now are the fitness guys talking about building your pelvic floor back up and everything, or working it out, or perimenopause. I'm like, you'll never experience this. Why would I go to a man about this? Like, we need more women in those spaces. So I think it's good that more women are
Yeah.
taking on the entrepreneur role.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's just weird when the guys are trying to do it. It's like, you don't know,
You have no idea. Like, no.
get it. So, why are you guys coming in here now and trying to tell us how to do that? Yeah, and I think it's just cool that God gave us different strengths. And so the guys can do what they need to do and the girls can do what they need to do. And then it comes back together and it's like, oh, we made like this really cool whole world and like we put these different things together and it was just like kind of cool that God made us each our own strengths and so that we can come together and build something cool.
This is true. Yep. Men and women complement each other.
Yep.
Right. Super special. And so I want to ask you guys, like, what's your favorite part about being a woman in business?
I'd say one of my favorite parts is having more control of my schedule, not feeling that I'm mediocre in two things. I
Yeah.
can step back and say, okay, I want to focus more on my children, and I can do that. Or I can say, I want to focus more on my business. Whereas if I was working for someone, it really, I've had so many mom friends that say, I'm mediocre in business and I'm mediocre as a mom. And
Yeah.
it's because they have really no control over their schedule. I think another thing is stop worrying. I've learned to stop worrying about me not making enough because I was a woman. No one dictates except for Nadia and I exactly what products we're putting out, exactly how much we can make, and what effort we can put in. So that direct impact can lead to a direct correlation of how much we make. Whereas if you're in business, just being a woman, you already know you're getting paid less than a man that's doing the same job as you. So that's no longer something I think about. So I think those are two things I really enjoy about being a woman in business.
Now, I think it's, well, in the digital business world, I think it's more of a meritocracy rather than when it was in the corporate world. Because in the corporate world, the best people are not the ones at the top. So there's a lot of different political games you got to play, who you know, what did you do here. In business as a woman, you really can really blaze your own path and you see what your efforts can lead to. So I think that's one of the good things about being a woman in business. And really, you don't have to ask permission. Like, I can be my authentic self. It's like, it is what it is. You don't like me, you can go find somewhere else. But
Mhm.
this is what I provide. I'm doing my best to do this, but I don't have to pretend to be someone I'm not.
Yeah.
And,
It's
and
not
I
like
think, like you were saying, Rose, how women have different strengths. I mean, we've had videos where Nadia and I have cried on the video, and it's like that would have been seen as a weakness in business, but it's seen as a
Weakness
strength.
on Wall Street, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, but it's seen as a string. Like we're able to be like it was so many times where you were told, oh, like baking in business was like the worst. Okay, if you wanted to bring in cupcakes or so, if you wanted to show that feminine side at work, that was gonna be something that's gonna get you dinged at work.
really.
Whereas now we can show we have feelings, we can be emotional, we can be, very vocal about things, we can be loud when we want to,
And
and
Nicole,
it's seen as
you
a
talk too much. You have
yeah,
to.
Mhm.
but now that's seen as a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like now when you're on like social media or things like that, you'll be like looking at different things and you'll see people crying, like you'll see girls crying, and I feel like that's then you have like a relate, like, you can relate to them,
Mhm.
and I think that's cool that we're nowadays being able to like pull into like okay, I relate to them because I see that they're not always strong, but they're always like I think we aren't always strong, but we're always brave, and like we're always like okay, I'm just gonna put myself out there, and it's like what I say a lot, it's like okay, if you don't like me, then you're not my ideal customer, like okay,
Yep.
bye. And I heard something the other day, and it was really funny. And it was like, if you have a problem with me, text me. If you don't have my number, then you don't know me well enough to have
Yep.
a problem with
Oh,
me.
I like that
That
one.
was the guy who plays Spider-Man. He said that.
Yeah, yeah, Tom Holland.
Yep.
And I was like, that is really true. Like, if you don't know me enough, then why do you like have a problem with me? Why don't you like me? It's like, okay, just move on, and I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and you keep doing what you're doing.
Yep.
I think that's sometimes I feel like as women we take it and we're like, well, this person doesn't like me, so I should just like stop. Like it's just over. I guess they just don't like me. It's like okay, that's one person's opinion. Like I've had comments like down about my book. I've had comments too like, about my podcast. And it's like okay, that's your opinion, and I'm like, you can keep your opinion. That's not mine. There's a reason you have it. And it's like, but I enjoy it. And there's people that come to me and like your podcast really helped me, and I was listening to an episode and it really changed my point of view, or I
That's
was
good.
reading in my book and it really helped me and I grew closer to God and all this stuff. And I'm like, that's why I do it. And the other people are just noise.
Exactly.
You learn to be like, I'm not going to listen to it.
It's funny, like on YouTube, there's a lot of people that come into the comments. Now, 99 fortunate, 99% of the comments are positive, and people say, "You helped me so much." But then every once in a while, we get some crazy ones. They're like,
Yeah.
some of them we just quickly delete. Some I laugh at because I'm like,
No,
okay.
I go after them.
And Nadi has, she just goes straight. I'm like, Nadi, you don't have to respond to everyone that does that, right? But she's like, oh no, you're not getting it. She's like, that was so rude. Why would you write? Like, Nadi is always about that. But it's like, I feel we're on a bigger mission. And this
Mhm.
is something, I like to think God puts it in our heart. If you get that little like feeling or like maybe God is speaking to you and it won't be loud, but when you hear it, you're like, I got to
Maybe.
keep going. And this is something I believe maybe this is the reason he made us twins. I don't know. I
Yeah, it
also
was
think
like it had to be a reason why we were made twins.
and it
Yeah.
had to be a reason that we did this roller coaster of a path to be where we're talking about money, something that was such a problem for us in the past that we can now help other people get past that problem. So we have to see that mission is bigger than us and God keeps opening up doors as we're doing this. So we're like we got to keep going even if there's haters, even if it's embarrassing. At first I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is going to be embarrassing. We're going to do YouTube. Oh my gosh, you know how many
Yo,
of my
I don't want
friends
my friends from work to see this.
you
Like,
know what they're
no.
gonna say?" Like, oh my gosh. But you
Yeah.
know what? It's so funny. Like, our friends don't say anything negative, at least not to our face. And
Right.
so many of them actually DM us and go, "Thank you for doing this. Okay, I need your help." And you're like, "Wait a minute, I thought you had this covered." And it's like, wow, we're actually helping people who look like they might have had it all figured out. And it's only because we decided to step out there and we have to step out on faith. We
Yeah.
had nobody showing us like this is a way out there. So stepping out on faith, it really is something that it had to be from God to say, keep going. And to deal with her every day.
Hey, even if we argue, like, that's it, I'm not working with you anymore. Like, okay, fine, let's get this done. I don't really
Yeah.
have to like you today, but let's get this done. We
Yeah. I
still
feel
have
like
to get
there's a
done.
difference between being siblings and there's like, okay, well, we're also business partners. So
Yeah,
we're not siblings right now. We're business partners. Let's go.
let's get it done.
Yeah. I love that. It's so special that you guys have that. It's so cool. Okay, so this is like one question that I had written down, and I was like, this makes me think about a lot of different things. But it was like, on the days that you wake up and you don't want to work, what do you tell yourself to make you get it done?
I say, you know what? One, we are making an impact, but more is what if I don't do it? What if I don't keep pushing forward with this? You never know what could happen, you know? Even if the business changes, it won't go anywhere if you just stop. So
Mm,
I feel like, hey, we're on this path. You got to keep going, and you never know what it's going to take you. But there's no option to stop. Like it's got to work or it's got to work, like Neil said. So
yeah.
it's got to work or it's got to work.
I think the one I like the most that helped me put the words to um why I'm doing this or to keep me motivated. Like usually it was like, okay, I'm just gotta do it. It's discipline, discipline, discipline. And I'm like, even if I don't like it, it's discipline. But Anthony Trucks had said you either get results or excuses, but you can't have both. And I was like, I mean, I work out now 5 days a week and I get up at 5 a.m. in the morning to go work out and it's not something many people want to do. And you get out there, and I'm not doing easy workouts in the morning, but like every morning, my alarm goes off, and I go, I can have results or excuses. I can't have both. And then I just jump out of bed. It
Yeah.
just gives me one simple line to keep it going. And if it's anything like when it comes to the work, that's just part like going to the gym is just part of who I want to be or who I have to become in order to do the things that people who are elite in this field do. So I sit down, I do the morning workout, and then if I don't want to do something, I know that's the thing I have to do
Yeah.
Yeah.
because that's what's going to move it forward. So I just look at it, oh, if this is something I really don't want to do, that's probably what I have to do.
And we're trying to make $1 million, right? It's not supposed to be easy. So
No.
that's why I keep in my mind. If you're trying to make $1 million and they're telling you can do it in a year, 2 years, 3 years, even under 10 years, like that's a big task, but it's something that's achievable. So it's not supposed to be easy. If it was easy, a lot more people would be doing it. So expect the
100%.
hard and just work through it.
Yeah, something I say it myself like every time, because my alarm, I get up at 5:30 to go to the gym, or I get up like 5:20 because we leave at 5:30 to go to the gym. And whenever the alarm goes off, I think of one thing, and it's like nothing changes if nothing changes. And
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, so if I don't get up, and another thing is like, what are you gonna like? How are you gonna feel knowing that you didn't do it? And how are you gonna feel knowing going around all day thinking I should have done that this
Yeah.
morning? And I think that I have a quote that's in my closet. So like every time I go to like change or something, I see it, and it says, "You have to show up as her before you become her."
Mm-hmm.
And so the person I want to become, she goes to the gym every morning. I'm like, okay, I'm going to show up as her. I'm going to go to the gym every morning. The person that I want to become, she sits down and she works diligently and she focuses. Okay, I'm going to do that. And so I think that you have to show up as the person you want to become before you become them. You can't just automatically like one day, oh, I'm them, yay. You have to like show up and become that person. And so I think that's a cool little journey that you get to go on with yourself. Is like, I do not want to do this, but I'm going to do it. Like the other day, it was like 7 something in the evening, and I was like, I really wanted to go to the gym again, and I was like, but I wanted to, but there was that part of me, like the whole like part of me was like, I don't want to, but I was like, I need to, and I was like having this battle in my head, and I was like, but do I just want to like sit down? I could just like literally go to bed. And I was like, or I could just go back to the gym, and I like the fact that I don't want to is showing me that the fact I need to.
Mm-hmm.
And I got up and I was like, Mom, can we go to the gym? And she's like, yeah, of course. And so I was like, the fact that sometimes you don't want to do something shows you the reason why you need to do it. I think that's hard, but it's a good reality check.
There was a book that Russell had talked about. He said is one of his favorite books. I'm trying to remember the
War of
name.
art.
War of Art, right?
Mm,
And that really helped put a light on resistance and how that is what you're fighting every day. And
yeah,
that's the thing that wins if you don't do what you're supposed to do. So I think I also use that as a way to help me. Like, if you don't do it, resistance is winning. And it's so many people that get beat by resistance and die without being who they could become because they don't fight resistance every day.
yeah,
And just seeing it and understanding, like, wow, yeah, my biggest enemy is not who you think it is. It's the resistance that's taking you out every day. And it's just like, you just got to keep pushing. And I mean, it's a fight every day. It's a fight to go, okay, I'm going to sit down and do this. But
hmm,
I think the hardest part is really just doing it because once you're there, it's convincing yourself to do it. Because once you actually start, it's not as difficult as you think it is. And it
right,
was another Jerry Seinfeld, he would say he has this little trick that he does. It's called "Don't Break the Chain," right? And I have a big calendar up on one of my walls, and just making sure all I have to do is whatever I have planned for that day. If I do it that day, I get to make an X, and all I have to do is see how long I can make, how many X's I can make in a row, and that's my chain. And all I have to do is not break the chain. And some days I break it, but the goal is to get that chain as long as you can before breaking it. And the longer that chain gets, the more progress you make.
that's a cool way to look at that. I like that.
Yeah, so just put some X's on a wall or
Yeah,
on a calendar, and you'll be surprised, like, wow. And you'll see the progress you made within that time.
yeah, because when you sit down, I feel like something that somebody that like Russell follows had talked about. It was like when you sit down to write, because like when I'm writing, sometimes I don't want to like write, and I'm like, okay, the problem is not sitting, like the problem is not writing itself, it's sitting down. And I feel like sometimes you guys gotta sit down and be like, okay, just start, because then you're like, wait, it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. And sometimes it's like, oh, it is still bad, but it's
Yeah.
not as
Yeah.
it's not always as bad as it seems in the beginning. And it's like just sit down and do it, and then you're gonna be like, imagine walking around the rest of the day knowing that you did that. And so that's something that's super, like I think about every time I'm at the gym. I'm like, I do not want to be here. I'm like, okay, but when I leave here, I'm gonna walk around like I did that. I can do this. I can do it again tomorrow. I did it, yay! And I think that when you accomplish something, to remember and celebrate it, like okay, I did that. Little
Yep.
celebrations.
Becoming the person you want to become. And that person does these things. So, yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, I don't have any more questions for you guys. Do you guys have anything else that you want to share?
Um, no, I think you should just keep being an inspiration to young girls like you and showing them what's possible. Like, even if you don't know where to start, just start and the pieces will start falling into place. So I think just keep doing what you're doing. And I congratulate you and your family for like the success that you're having because I think it's wonderful.
Thank you.
And I think I want to speak to the girls too. You really have no idea how much time you have right now until you really don't have time. Okay.
Exactly.
I used to think I had no time growing up. And it wasn't until I had children and was married that I realized how precious the time I had was.
Mm,
So if you have the opportunity, and again, no one is promised tomorrow.
that's
So I know it's hard to think like that because everyone thinks that we do get tomorrow. So it's very hard to say, I'm going to be good today because I don't know if tomorrow's going to come. It might be a little too abstract, but you have more time than you think you have right
In a
now. You
day.
have the most time. And
Yep.
if you're in teens, if you're still in school, the only thing really your parents want you to do is to become a better version of yourself. And no parent gets upset when you say, I'm working on my business, I'm working on myself, I'm working out. They will leave you alone. Okay. They will support you in that journey. Because the only time parents get upset is when they see you wasting time.
mm,
Because parents love to see their children succeed and want them to be better than them. So use the time you have now and just learn as much as you can. And if you don't know what you're passionate about, it does not matter. Try 5 different things and see which one works. You're
yeah.
going to figure out something, and at least it's going to lead you closer to what you don't want.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah.
Again, there's 2 ways to see it. What you're passionate about, you'll find things that you're not passionate about, and that will help you narrow down exactly what you might want to do. But just
Hardships.
use this time to learn as much as you can and become the best version of yourself.
And people will answer your questions. You're young. You have the right to ask questions and they will more than likely look to help you out. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
be bold. Go out there and ask people.
We need more girl bosses.
Yes, absolutely. And I do actually kind of have like one more question for you guys, and that is, who else do you think I should have on my podcast? Like, do you guys like know and can connect me with? Who else do you think I can have?
Who will we put you on to?
I mean, I'm thinking of the money space, and also, you know what? Whitney Bonds.
I was thinking Whitney too.
Whitney Bonds, she's a preacher's wife.
Oh,
She's
Yep.
she's also a mom of
Mama
3
three.
kids. She's killing it in the game of business as well. I
awesome.
think she'd be a good person to speak to.
Yep.
And also I'm thinking of, I think another thing that women don't get enough of, and maybe we should have also talked about this more, money management and
Mm,
understanding how important it is to understand.
Oh, you know who she should speak to? The guy Collins, JD Collins. If you can get an interview with him, because he wrote that book for his 19-year-old daughter, Nicole.
Simple path to wealth.
Yep.
writing that down.
So something like that to understand how, because if you're a girl boss, you need to understand how to manage money as well and how
Yeah,
to
no one's
invest your
gonna come
money.
to save you. You shouldn't rely on other people for your money.
Yeah.
Right.
So, Rose, you can open up a Roth IRA at your
Mhm.
age. If you're making income and you're earning income from your book sales, invest that money now, okay? Because you have the effect of compounding. That's for anybody. As soon
Yeah.
as you start earning income, start investing that income,
It
okay?
doesn't matter if you get a W-2 or anything from that job. It could be babysitting, it could be walking dogs, it could be anything. As long as you're making an income, you can start investing it.
And
Yeah.
then I would say probably someone in the health field, because I think a lot of women or girls, they don't understand the value of their health when it leads to turning into business and believing in themselves. So maybe someone in the health field. I don't know who I
Yeah.
would pick right now.
I don't know.
But thank you guys.
No, you're welcome. I would try to get Mel Robbins. That's who I would.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You're young. Throw it out there. Throw it out there.
Yeah. Like, hey, so your
Exactly.
podcast. Yes. Awesome. Thank you guys for your time.
No, thank you for
And
interviewing
Yeah,
us,
thank you,
Rose.
Rose.
absolutely. I appreciate you guys so much. And I'm just so grateful you guys are on here.
Well,
So
we're
thank
so
you.
grateful to be on your show and that, you're an inspiration to us. So this is fantastic. So thank you for having us.
Yep.
Of course. And thank you for all the listeners for listening. Bye.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.